Hi, and welcome to The Bright Balloon, a podcast where I'm sharing bright ideas for your balloon business. My name is Sarah Meyer, and I'm a balloon business owner like you, and I love the creative side of what I do, but I really love the business side, which seems to be the part where most people struggle. So I'm here to help. Each week, I'm bringing you an episode full of bite-sized tips you can use to make improvements in your business. I want you to make more money, eliminate stress, and learn along with me as we grow our creative businesses together. Welcome to The Bright Balloon, presented by 17 Hats. Hello and welcome to this episode. Today, back by popular demand, is Courtney from Courtney Lynette Creative Co. She was on a previous episode speaking about branding. She offers branding for creative small businesses and website in a day services, in addition to many other things she provides. But today we are focusing on the website. So a lot of her clients are balloon artists that started during the pandemic. And since then, their businesses have taken a root, and it is time to get off social media exclusively and set up a website. So that is something that can get overwhelming and technical very quickly. So I love that Courtney keeps it simple. In this episode, we are talking about how your website should function and why you need one and how she can help. So before we get into this episode, let's head over to the UGlu Hotline for some great advice that sticks, and then another fabulous interview with Courtney. Welcome to the UGlu Hotline, where we discuss great advice that sticks, brought to you by Pro Tapes. If you have a question or some great advice to share, click the link in the show notes to call in and leave a voicemail.
Hi, Sarah. This is Jolena. I am calling from Sun and Moon Balloon Design in Frederick, Maryland. I was just calling with a quick tip that I've been forcing myself to do lately, and that is record myself for social media. So I know a lot of people are also solopreneurs and don't have people there to record cute videos and do social media for them. So one thing that I've been doing is taking a day every couple weeks to just record everything I do, whether that's dropping my kids off at school, inflating, building, installs, whatever it is. And it's really helped me because I often get tunnel vision when I'm doing installs and just want to focus on getting the job done, and I don't think to take videos or anything like that. And I get pictures at the end and then I'm done and out of there. So it's been really helpful to kind of like remind myself, oh, this is my day. I have to record everything. And even though I hate doing it, I still force myself to do it. And then over the next week or two, I can then like edit things and create like batch stuff to post on social media. So hope that helps someone out there that also is resistant to social media like myself. Have a good one. Bye.
Pro Tapes is a leading manufacturer of specialty tape products like Pro Gaff, Pro Artist Tape, and our favorite balloon tape, UGlu, which helps you create amazing balloon arrangements and decorations in less time. You can save 5% on UGlu when you buy directly from Havin A Party using code BRIGHT at checkout. All right, welcome back, Courtney. After such an amazing first episode, we chatted about branding and all sorts of things, and I got so much feedback on your episode. You're back again, and we're chatting about websites. And this is kind of like your bread and butter, right? Like you do website design for people.
Yeah, so branding is always included in website design, but it's like a mix. Some people just come in needing branding, but the main thing that I do is website design.
And in case someone missed the first episode, give us a really quick intro.
Yeah, so I'm Courtney. I own Courtney Lynette Creative Co. I do show it web design and branding for creative small businesses. So a lot of balloon people. I worked in the event industry for over 10 years. So that's kind of like my sweet spot is I love working with event vendors and creating branding that, is perfect for the industry and fun and exciting and feminine and all that stuff.
And you were saying before we started recording that you are currently in this cycle of helping balloon people get websites who started usually like during the pandemic, and then their business like stuck, and now they have an actual business and no website.
Yeah. So that is something so I always do a discovery call with people first. That's like your first step of working with me. And the reason I do it is because everybody's branding and websites is obviously very personal, and I want to know somebody personally before we like work together. But in that conversation, 9 times out of 10 with a balloon person, they're telling me that they started during COVID as a creative outlet, or, they lost their job or whatever it may be. Or they started doing it for their kids and they really loved it and people started asking them to do it. And now they have this legitimate business. And now it's 2, 3 years later, post-pandemic, and they still have their business, but they don't have a website. They're relying on social media, and they're just looking to legitimize, which is totally fair, especially a couple years in.
Yeah, and in addition to, I mean, just being legitimate, because people are like, "What's your website?" Like
Yeah.
it's pretty common to have a website now. Besides looking the part, I want to chat about some things your website should do in terms of like function. Because for me, like my website is basically like my store. Like I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not e-commerce, but like it is where I send people to shop and then we confirm their booking. So from the not only design standpoint, but the functional standpoint, what are things that you are doing on a website to try to get people to like just improve their business? Like if you had to convince someone to have a website besides just appearances, what
Yeah.
can it do for you?
Yeah, because a website is more than just a pretty face, right? It's
Right,
not
right.
like this pretty spot for someone to stop. So usually like when we do sites, I always build out up to 6 pages, but usually those all those pages mean something, right? So your homepage kind of like has bits and pieces of everything that's on your site. Your about page is really getting into the personality and the personal side of your business, which people really connect with, and it makes a huge difference, which is why I think I even mentioned this on the last episode that I was on, but like a brand shoot and stuff like that, where you're showing your face on your website is super important because people are way more likely to purchase and to connect with somebody's, personal face and story and all of that. So your about page is super important. And then your services page is really where you're getting into like the nitty gritty of what you do. So like social media, it's really nice to be able to showcase all these beautiful creations that you're making. And there's definitely a time and place. But your services page is where you can get into like all your different offerings that you do, your different styles, your different price points. Everyone's different about like, putting their pricing up on their site. But I find like having your pricing up on your site is really gonna like sift through the people who are just not the right fit for you. It kind of stops wasting time with inquiries that are, not in the right space. So yeah, it's a great spot for like a shop, essentially, like not e-commerce, like what you're saying, but like this is a chance for someone to like go into your shop, see all that you have to offer, maybe even find something that they weren't thinking that they would do. Um, and add that on, So it's like it's a really good spot to showcase all of your service offerings and your portfolio. So showing off work that maybe people don't want to scroll on Instagram to get back to certain things. So maybe you're doing portfolios that are broken down into different types, or that are just really showcasing the best of the best. And it's really just like, it's about the user experience, obviously, on your website. So everything has a call to action. Everything's like a sales point, but underground. You're not like trying to be salesy. But there's a purpose to a website, right? Like you're showing your services. When somebody's on your website, they're pretty much already a warm lead, right?
Yeah,
They're
right,
already
exactly.
looking to purchase, whereas Instagram, they might just be browsing and liking what you're doing and being inspired or whatever.
Or
If
like on
some
Instagram, they're like very likely to live in another country. Like
That's
they
it.
might love your decor, but they will never hire you.
Exactly. And even honestly, in a different state, like with balloons, like it's a local business for
Yeah.
the most part, unless you're shipping, grab and goes or whatever. Um, so yeah, you're able to target a little bit better, and you have that warm lead that's searching for your specific area, your service has landed on your page, and now it's your chance to actually sell what you're doing in your personality, in your services, in your portfolio, and then having easy ways for them to get a hold of you. So they're not like jumping all around trying to figure out.
Yeah. I really like how you pointed out the services page. That is not a page that I had previously. And I have added a services page and it's really helped because in my mind, it made sense to me. I knew what I was looking at, but if you show someone the portfolio of your work,
Mhm.
They don't know that they're looking at an event that's made up of columns and garlands and
Right.
arches and hanging balloons and helium balloons. Like they shouldn't have to be the ones picking apart the things that they like and that they're looking at. So I did add the services page and I have a very clear like this is an arch. This is the
Yeah.
column. And this has just been the last month and it's really, really helped. I can tell it's working because people are using that language when they order.
Yeah.
Instead of being like a balloon tower and a balloon, flowy cluster, like they used to make up their own words. And I was like,
Yeah.
what are you saying? It's because
Yeah.
they didn't know what they were looking at, right? Like they were seeing it on Instagram and not going to a services page to get the right vocabulary.
Yeah. And I think it helps with customer expectations too. Like if they're thinking they're going to be able to get this big, huge thing, or they think that's your simple garland, when you're like, that's actually, the biggest garland we have versus like this garland, that's our smallest. So it's really helpful for people who are, like you're saying, not in your industry. You're having to kind of speak to someone who doesn't know your lingo, and give them a real identity of like what this service is, what it will be, and all of that. Yeah.
All right. I am feeding a baby while we're recording this episode, so we need to take a break so that she can burp and cry. And then we will be right back and continue talking about more website stuff. Are you ready to take your balloon business to the next level? Look no further than Havin A Party Wholesale, your ultimate destination for all things balloons. Havin A Party Wholesale is on the cutting edge of new products that will wow your clients, from top brands like Tuftex, Jamar, Anagram, Ellie's, Sempertex, PremiumConwin, and introducing Brookloon, a new balloon line created by the Havin A Party family. They've got the widest selection to fuel your creativity. Join the successful league of professional balloon artists who shop at havinaparty.com. All right, welcome back. We are talking about websites, and I think the alternative to a website is running your entire business on social media, and you're not a fan of that. Why is that a potential problem?
Okay, to be upfront, I'm not only not a fan of it because I design websites and that's my business. I do have legitimate reasons. Okay, so if you're only running on social media, there's a couple of things that are sticky points. So you're at the mercy of social media, right? So if Instagram were to be down, or Facebook, or whatever you're running your business on, I would say most likely people are doing it via Instagram. If it's down, if it's having any type of issue, if your account gets hacked, if you lose anything, that's your business gone, right? Like that's so scary to think about. That happens all the time. People lose their accounts, they lose their followers,
Yeah. I know. I
whatever.
think in the balloon world, that balloon girl is kind of the one I think of. She had a big following and she never got back into her account. She just had to start over. And I asked her how much it affected her business, and she said not at all because she had a website. So like
See?
she had this huge, massive following and it didn't have any impact. She was able to just pop up another Instagram account versus the opposite where that's all you have, your business would literally be gone. That's so scary.
Right. And it's the same thing with, like when people talk about email lists and stuff, those things are great, integrated with a website, because that is a spot that someone is for sure landing on. If you're having an issue with your website, it's most of the time it's a domain issue or something. That stuff can get figured out. It's a technical issue versus social media. Like I said, that could be gone tomorrow. I mean, think of all the social media things that were like really cool and now they're just like not around anymore. So
I know. I
yes.
built my first business on MySpace. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my
But
God, I was like,
there
you
have been
are an
so many.
OG.
No, MySpace. I remember for like 3 days, everyone was like, get on Periscope. And then there was like
Yeah.
Clubhouse. And then there's been so many
Yeah.
in the last, I don't know, 5 years, 10 years. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
And
why I just do
honestly,
nothing. I'm not an early adapter. I wait until something really catches on.
same, honestly, same. But it's because I have a site. Like I know I don't have to jump on every trend. I know I'm still going to get business because there's a spot for somebody to land no matter what's happening in the social media world. Like Vine and TikTok and all this, like you ask different age gaps even, and they're going to be looking at different social media platforms, but everyone knows what a website is. Like an older client might be like the Facebook client, right? But they also know how to Google. Like a younger millennial or young, I guess a millennial, but like younger than me is TikTok versus Instagram. Like they all say Instagram is old. And so it's like, it's where are you
Right.
up with all this stuff versus like a website, you can have targeted SEO. You can talk about your local like areas, your cities, your anything like that. Um, you're not dependent on algorithm changes, like anything new in the social media world, hacks, all of that stuff. And then you're not dealing with a million DMs of people who are asking like random questions. Like I still obviously handle DMs in my business, even though I have a site, but it allows me to send somebody to a place on my site that has that information all in one spot. It's usually the same question that somebody's asking me. It's not taking up my time doing all this writing, recreating content, all of this stuff when it's like, yeah, sure, I'd love to chat with you about it. You can find all of that info right here. Like you've already done that work. And it's legitimizing. Like you're showing somebody, yes, I have a legitimate business. You're welcome to visit my website. It has all the information you need on it. And hi, balloons are expensive. Like it's a top dollar product. You need to be offering a top dollar customer service situation, not just like send me a DM or, fill out my Google form. It's just not
Yeah.
going to translate to like a luxury service.
Well, and I think if this is how people are functioning, that's fine. You will get to a point where you need to level up. I mean, like, not like, oh, you need to do it. It's like, I would not be able to juggle at the scale that I am. Like, I would miss jobs, I would lose payments. Like, I just wouldn't be able to do it. So, if you are running your business on Instagram and a Google form, that's fine. And that's amazing that you've gotten to that point. But it might be time to make it a little easier on yourself with a
Yeah.
standalone website.
And I was just going to say it. You're making you in your head. I think a lot of people are like, this is easier. I'll just like, I don't want to have to make a website. I don't want to have to do all that work, blah, blah, blah. But you're making it 10 times harder on yourself to have like a place you do a form, a place you do an invoice, or send me a Venmo, or, whatever it is that there's like 6 different things you have going on versus creating a website, having one place for a contact. It goes directly to your email, having even like a CRM like 17 Hats or Honeybook or something like that, that you're capturing all of your client content and then it's all in one place. So yeah, I
I
think people
will.
get misunderstood about the like easiness of having it just on
Yeah,
social.
absolutely. Absolutely. The one other thing that for some reason works for me, and it was a side effect of having a website, is that like it keeps me on track. It keeps me honest. It like once I put my prices up there, it's like I have a place to go to remember what my prices are. Otherwise, on Instagram, sometimes I'm like, what did I charge for that? I don't
Yeah.
know. And I'm just like making up random prices. And now that I have a virtual assistant, it's a place for her to go and look. And it's like
Yeah.
whatever's on the website is what the price is. We're not like using old folders or old whatever, making it up or looking back at invoices to like, what did we charge for that?
Yeah.
And it's also given me a bit of focus, especially now that services page. Like I have like 6 things on there. Because when I
Yeah.
really boil it down, it's like I do garland, columns, arches, helium balloons, some centerpieces, like and I have marquees. There's very limited options. Within each of those options, those can be customized a million different ways,
Yeah.
but it gives me focus. Anytime I'm like quoting something crazy that I've never done, it like I stop and I'm like, wait, why am I quoting this? Like, this is not something I provide. Like, I don't need to offer everything. Like, it's not a service I provide right now. And that's given me kind of the confidence of sometimes like having it in writing, having it public on my website. It's held me to that a little bit
Yeah.
more than I think.
Yeah. And it's something I always run into with creatives is we're all really good at saying yes and figuring it out after, right? Because we want to take every job. We can do a million things. We're very crafty. You can figure it out. But at the same time, like I always tell people when we're going through the process and they're filling out worksheets and stuff, like this is a great time to look at your services. Like look at what you want to offer, what you don't like offering, and don't put up there what you don't want to offer. Like that's your choice down the road if you want to take something on that someone's pitching to you. But if you hate doing columns, don't offer columns. And so like you're saying, it's a good spot to focus and to really sell the products that you want to be doing and that you're good at and that you like doing. And it focuses the customer too, instead of them being like, I don't know, whatever. And then you're like, okay, now it's way more work for me to figure out like what would work for you.
Yeah, 100%. And I have just like a style question, and we can get into more nuts and bolts of what it is to work with you. But style wise, I feel like I have seen almost a pullback, like a streamlining of websites. I feel like years ago it was like, I'm going to put 100 galleries. I'm going to have a gallery for corporate, a gallery for arches, a gallery for that. Like, I'm going to put all this up there. And mine almost has no photos on it anymore. Like, I have the services page where it's branded photos of each of my offerings. And then I have a link, like an up-to-date feed from Instagram. So that's my most updated stuff. That's kind of like my gallery. And then I have very few like other images. Like, am I off base, or has that kind of been a trend where it's like more isn't more these days?
It's a little bit of a mix. I would say definitely you kind of have to pare down, especially in something such a like so visual like balloons. Like that can get really overwhelming if there's like stuff everywhere. But at the same time, like balloons are a fun, colorful, industry. So I don't think you necessarily need to like go really minimal if you don't want to. Like especially with balloon artists, I always encourage that brand shoot because you can target your colors and you can target your overall look and have just really good, solid website images. Because with balloons, colors are all over the place versus events, right?
Well,
And
and that's what I just did. I did the branded, one item in my colors,
yeah,
finally booked the space, took the photos. And I think because everything is so clean and consistent, it like I didn't feel like I needed a ton of other stuff.
yeah.
Which is just interesting because I used to have crap everywhere. I have photos of everything.
Yeah. I think if you have like a really streamlined site, you don't need a lot. So like you're like I was saying with those pages, like your home page, it's not necessarily a bunch of photos, but it may be bits and pieces of what they can do with you. Your services pages are really streamlined. Like I tell people like either do mock-ups, but that can get expensive sometimes, or do the like graphic type mock-ups, of balloons. And then you can still have them in your colors, those types of things, and you're still showcasing that. And then your portfolio is, yeah, either a live feed of your Instagram, because really that is your portfolio. Most
Right.
of the time I'm doing like an Instagram feed on somebody's footer of their site, so it's always on their site. And then the portfolio is just like that handful of really good images that look really nice. And I'm always telling people like, don't go crazy. Like no one's gonna scroll for like days, like let's,
Yeah.
25 really good images and we'll just put it in a really simple gallery, like limit the clicks in,
Well, because it shows that you know what you're doing. And I think that's ultimately what it is. There's a level of professionalism. They see that you can do whatever, and then they trust you. Not like I don't think the average person is like assessing the quality of arches. They're assessing your overall
Yeah.
look.
Well, yeah, they want to make sure that you've done it before, right? You
Right.
could easily throw up a site with no images and say that you're a balloon artist, which maybe you are and you just don't have any work yet, but that shows, right? If you're not showing your work. So there is that sweet spot of like, don't overdo it and put stuff everywhere and a bunch of graphics and all this stuff. Like maybe go a little more minimal, but don't have nothing. You got to show your work somehow.
Absolutely. Okay, I want to take a break and I want to hear what it is to work with you. We talked about this a little bit in the last episode about branding, but I'm curious, website, I don't know the timeline, I don't know the process, so we will chat about that in a second.
Are you looking to grow the number of businesses you're working with? From the small retail shop doing a grand opening in your downtown to the large Fortune 500 that has a fulfillment center or a warehouse or a large office building in your community. On the Balloon Suite blog, you can find the details on how to find and approach businesses of all types and of all ranges and size so that you can grow your sales and grow your revenue per order. Come on over to the Balloon Suite blog to learn more at balloonsuite.com.
All right, welcome back. Websites. You touched on this earlier. A lot of people just do Instagram because it's quote unquote easier. Because if you don't know how to make a website, like that's not something you just like whip up. So that is your job. What does it look like to work with you? Like walk us through that process.
Yeah. So, like I mentioned, the first thing we do is a discovery call because I'm always really honest with people about which package I think is right for them. I'm not about to upsell you on a full custom site if I don't think that you need a full custom site. And especially because I'm working with a lot of people who are newer in business or in their first couple years, or maybe have that first website that they've thrown up themselves and now are ready for something that looks better. So there's two options you can work with, or you can do a website in a day, which is my most popular option. I love doing that option, and I'll go into that. And then the custom site side of things. So the main difference is the turnaround time. A custom site takes longer. It's more like an 8 to 10 week process. We're starting from scratch. Obviously, it's completely custom. The website in a day starts with, so like I mentioned, I work on Showit. That's the platform that I use. That's similar to something like Squarespace or Wix or something like that. I like Showit just because there's way more like design flexibility in it. I have a million other reasons which we can chat about if you want. So we start with a template for a website in a day. So I have a handful of templates that you can choose from, or you can bring your own Showit template, totally open. But essentially all that does is it gives us building blocks to build your site off of, and it cuts down that build time. So since I'm including branding in every single website package, so that means before this day, we're going through the whole branding process of getting you new logos, colors, fonts, all of that. And then the actual design day, we're implementing that into your full site or template. And so it's completely redoing the template, all of your fonts, colors, imagery, all of that. And then I'm still customizing the template. So you come to me where, like I mentioned earlier, there's a couple questionnaires that you do, like brand voice, website copy, those types of things. So I have your basic info. And then that day is implementing it all. And I'm reworking all of your pages to work for your business and your service. So like for balloons, some people want a whole page on grab and goes because they haven't done that before, or they want their service page to be separate than a pricing page, those types of things. So you can pick whatever 6 pages you want to do. And then that's done all in one day, which is like the best, most freeing feeling for most clients, because most of the time people have been sitting on like, I need to redo my website. I need to do this.
Yeah, that instant gratification must feel really nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's always like at least a 2-week process from booking to site, because there's all those questionnaires that you have to fill out and we have to do your branding first. But the actual website design is in one day. So we start in the morning, and then by the end of the day, your site is live and done and ready to go and functioning. And it's awesome.
That's so cool. And then, so after the fact, how involved are you? Because I'm one of those people who like, I like to be in control. Like I like to be able to go in and change things really quick. And then I know other people who like don't even know how to access their website. So like what happens after the website is made, and what do you recommend?
That's a good question. So the way that I do it is with the website in a day, I tell people to wait a week or two, depending on your schedule, kind of play with it, look around, because the day of is obviously super quick. Like the revision process is more like, can you swap this image? This text is wrong. This button isn't working, that type of thing. And then those 2 weeks-ish, you're going through, maybe sending to some people for some feedback, all that type of stuff. And then we jump on an hour like post design call where we make any changes we need to. And then I do a full tutorial on the back end. So you'll be able to know how to switch out images, how to change copy. Those are most likely the things that you're going to want to be doing. You don't really need to know like the full designer showcase of everything. But I never want to hand over a site to someone and then them feel like I can never touch it again. Like it's a designer site. So Showit's super easy in that sense. So I always go through that. And then, yes, I have 2 different types of clients. I have the one who are really into that, and that gets recorded and you get to keep it and you can always go back to it. I have that person who like wants to jump in and be able to know how to do that. And then I have the other side of the coin who's like, this is really great. This is really helpful. I never want to touch my site again. Can I just like have you do everything for me?
Right.
Which is fair and fine. So that type of person, I have kind of like a monthly maintenance package. That's just like text edits, image edits, if you need to update your portfolio, add a new gallery, something like that. I am the type who like, once I have a client, they're my client and I'm always going to help them. Like if there's something that you need, please just email me. But like I said, I never want someone to feel like they're at my mercy to change, something on their site. So that's why I do it that way.
Right. Yeah. Oh, neat. Well, let's take one more break. And then I have some just fun questions that have nothing to do about balloons or business.
Okay.
And well, one of them does, but just so we can get to know you a little bit better and end on a fun note. So we'll be right back. Hey listeners, before we wrap up today's episode, let's talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Balloon Guild. Do you ever see amazing balloon decor online and wonder, how did they make that? The Balloon Guild is revolutionizing the industry by standardizing recipes SOPs, and offering unparalleled training. Their mission? To elevate balloon artists worldwide, ensuring efficiency, profitability, and unparalleled professionalism. For business owners and their teams, the Balloon Guild isn't just a resource, it's a game changer for growth and development. For me, it's been the ultimate shortcut in finally getting things out of my head and onto paper, so I'm not making things up on the fly, and so my team can work together to create consistent, fast decor. Visit their platform today at theballoonguild.com or by using the link in the show notes. New recipes and resources are released every month. All right, welcome back. We're going to end on a light note. I just have 3 questions for you. I just started doing this with guests, and I love it. My first question is, where is your favorite place to vacation?
London, hands down.
Oh, really? Did you go for just a vacation, or did you go for a specific reason?
So I've always been like really into the royals for some reason.
Okay.
And so that was my first like, oh, I really want to go see all the like royal stuff. My husband and I went, I don't know, gosh, 6 or so years ago now, and had like just the best vacation there. It was so fun. We spent a really long time there. And then I got to go back last summer for like a quick 36 hours by myself and just like conquered the whole city again. And I just love it. It's so fun, great food, good like sightseeing. It's just awesome. Yeah.
I'm jealous. I've never been. Definitely on my list.
You have to go. Okay, on your list.
All right, next question. What is your favorite material possession you've purchased in the last 6 months? It could be something little, it could be something fun, something you saw on Amazon.
Okay, my husband will laugh at me for this and think that I'm crazy. I bought one of those vegetable chopper things from Amazon where it like dices.
Okay.
Like a game changer. I love it. He thinks it's the silliest product on the market, but you just, throw your veggies in there, you put the lever down and it chops it all diced up, all nice.
Very cool. I've watched many a chopper video on TikTok late at night.
So embarrassing, but it's true. I love it.
Love it. All right. And last question. This one is a little bit about business. What is one piece of business advice that you would share with our listeners?
I think my biggest advice is just go for it. Like I've had.
Oh my gosh. I just got off another episode with Jeff from Click Click. And he said the same exact thing. I've only done this twice, and you guys have had the same exact tip. Well, continue on, but I think that makes it great advice.
I think that being a creative, you can overthink everything a lot. And there has been multiple times, this is my second creative business. And both times have been like a little bit scary, a little bit like, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know, whatever. This could be a big flop. And just go for it. Like it may be a flop and you'll learn from it, but most of the time it's going to work out. And that's the cool part of a creative business. And you get to change things as you go, and you get to, have ownership of what you're doing. And I'm not saying that it's easy. We all know that it's a lot of work, and it's sometimes harder than having like this 9-to-5 job, but it's so worth it in the end to get to like say that your job every day is something creative and fulfilling and something you feel really called to.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again for coming on the show. Where can we find you?
Well, first on my website.
Yes.
My website is CourtneyLynette.com. So it's my first and middle name, Lynette.
And we will link it in the show notes.
Good. And then obviously social media, I'm Courtney Lynette over there too, on Instagram. Facebook is there. I'm going to be honest, I'm never there, but it's there.
Same. Facebook might as well not exist in my world anymore.
Yeah.
And I think people should head over to your Instagram, because I think you do a really good job of showing the work that you do. Like when you release a new website for a client, you post that and you celebrate it. And I think it's helpful to see kind of your style and the people you work with, because you were very open in the last episode about like, you don't take on every project. Like you might not be a good fit for someone. So I think it's nice to kind of see your style over on your Instagram.
Yeah, I like doing that. I've struggled with Instagram sometimes of the like wanting to get all these views and wanting to do this content. And I kind of came to the conclusion recently of like, I'm just going to share my work. I'm just going to share, where it's at. The clients will come based off of that. And I think that's super important. But yes, thank you. I always give all my clients kind of launch graphics and stuff to be able to share as well, because I think it's really important to celebrate something big like a website. But yes, they're all over there and there's lots more coming.
Very cool. Very cool. And you said you have a special offer for our listeners.
I do. Yeah. So anybody, if you reach out and are interested in that website in a day package that we talked about, any Bright Balloon podcast listeners can get $100 off.
Woohoo! Do they need to use a secret code or something?
Just tell me you're a listener. I trust you.
Yay! Oh, that's really generous. That is exciting. And I know I've spoken to a couple who have worked with you since the last episode. So that's great.
Yeah, I've had lots of people come from Bright Balloon and everyone's been awesome. And there's lots of fun, cute sites out there that are babies of Bright Balloon podcast.
Woohoo! Well, thank you for coming back again, for giving us more insight. I've always been a big fan of the website. I, again, truly don't understand how people run businesses without them. But I'm also not someone who gets overwhelmed easily. So if someone's out there and they're overwhelmed, this is a really, really good course of action to get started on a website working with Courtney.
Yeah, and I'd love to chat further if anyone has questions about, the meaning of a website and the use of it. We could chat as much as you want.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening. As usual, I tried to keep it bright and light. Our presenting sponsor is 17 Hats, the CRM I use to cut the chaos and manage my entire balloon business. From the lead capture form on my website to workflows and email templates, invoicing and grab-and-go garland automated bookings, it's all powered by 17 Hats, the best customer relationship management system for balloon businesses. There's even a 50% off coupon code waiting for you in the show notes wherever you're listening. I'll see you next week in another episode.